Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Arjun Chaudhary and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. In our top headlines, Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold meeting this afternoon to review COVID-19 situation in the country. 26 December to be observed as Veer Bal Divas to honour the courage of the Sahibzade, the two sons of Guru Gobind Singh, announces the Prime Minister. Healthcare and frontline workers and people above 60 with comorbidities to get booster dose of COVID vaccine from tomorrow. Over 151 crore and 58 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 96.98%. A total of 3,623 cases of Omicron reported in the country so far. Today is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Vice President and Prime Minister greet the Indian diaspora on the occasion. The 355th birth anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh being celebrated with COVID protocols. In Uttarakhand, normal life thrown out of gear due to heavy snowfall. Many connecting roads and hilly areas disrupted. And in tennis, the Indian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Ramkumar Ramanathan win the Adelaide International Doubles Trophy in Australia. And before the news in detail, let's have a look at the public service announcement on COVID. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. The new Omicron variant of coronavirus is causing a concern. Please continue to follow these three simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011-239-78046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a meeting this evening to review the COVID-19 situation in the country. According to government sources, the meeting will take place at 4:30 p.m. The meeting comes amid rising cases of COVID-19 in the country. Last month also, Mr. Modi chaired a high-level meeting to review the status of COVID-19 and Omicron. He had said we should be alert and cautious in view of the new variant. The Prime Minister had directed officials to maintain extreme vigil and alertness at all levels. He also directed the centre to work in close coordination with states and support their efforts of public health measures of containment and management under the whole-of-government approach. Administration of booster dose for healthcare and frontline workers and those over 60 years of age with comorbidities begins from tomorrow. The centre has issued guidelines stating that no new registration will be required to get a booster dose. The eligible population who have taken 2 doses of corona vaccine can directly take an appointment or walk into any COVID vaccination centre. The online appointment for the booster shots began yesterday, where one can book their slots. Personnel deployed for election duty will be treated as frontline workers and will also be administered booster dose from tomorrow. The centre has already said that the precautionary vaccine dose will be the same vaccine as administered previously in the first 2 doses. Talking to AIR News, Chairman of the COVID Task Force, Dr. N.K. Arora said,
"It's a matter of great pleasure as well as it is heartening that till yesterday, 2 crore 30 lakh children between the age of 15 and 18 have already received their first dose. We have a total of 7.5 crore children in this age group, and we would request this enthusiasm and eagerness, and so that all the children should get their first dose as soon as possible. From tomorrow, we are starting precautionary dose for beneficiaries, health providers, and the other frontline workers. I would request all those who are more than 60 years and have comorbidities, these people and their families, to ensure that their elderly get the precautionary dose as soon as possible.
Over 151 crore 58 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive in the country. Meanwhile, India's active COVID-19 caseload currently stands at over 5,90,000. The active cases stand at 1.66% and recovery rate is currently at 96.98%. Over 40,000 recoveries were reported in the last 24 hours. A total of 1,59,632 new cases were reported in the same period. A total of 3,623 cases of Omicron have been reported in the country so far. Out of the total Omicron cases, Maharashtra has reported 1,009 cases, followed by Delhi with 513, Karnataka with 441, and Rajasthan has reported 373 cases. The Union Health Ministry said till now 1,409 people have recovered from the infection.
Puducherry witnessed a sudden spike in the number of COVID-19 cases within a few days, from a single digit to 444 new cases today. A report from our Puducherry correspondent.
In a press release, Director of Health G. Sriramulu said that Puducherry region reported 350 new cases. Karaikal had 84, followed by 1 in Yanam and 9 cases in Mahe. With the latest addition, the total cases in the Union Territory so far rose to 1,30,722. Out of 1,250 active cases, 100 cases are treated in hospitals and 1,150 are under home isolation. So far, 14,63,660 doses of COVID vaccines administered, including second dose. The recovery rate touched 97.6% and the positivity rate stands at 13.87%. Following the sudden threat, the Puducherry government has issued new restrictions in the Union Territory effective until January 31st, 2022. Only 50% occupancy will be allowed in malls, market complexes and shops, transports, cinema theatres, restaurants, bars, auditoriums, saloons and gyms, etc. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
The Rajya Sabha Secretariat has restricted staff attendance in view of the rising COVID-19 cases. 50% officials and staff below the rank of Under-Secretary have been directed to work from home till the end of this month. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has reviewed the situation and directed that necessary measures be taken to contain the spread of the virus. Meanwhile, around 400 Parliament staff members have been reportedly tested positive for COVID-19 from the 4th to the 8th of this month.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced that 26th December will be marked as Veer Bal Divas. Mr. Modi said it will be a fitting tribute to the courage of Sahibzade, the sons of Guru Gobind Singh, and their quest for justice. Here is more in this report.
Veer Bal Divas will be on the same day Sahibzada Zorawar Singh and Sahibzada Fateh Singh attained martyrdom after being sealed alive in a wall. Two greats preferred death instead of deviating from the noble principles of Dharma. The bravery and ideals of Mata Gujri, Guru Gobind Singh and 4 Sahibzadas give strength to millions of people. They never bowed to injustice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that Sahibzada Zorawar Singh and Sahibzada Fateh Singh envisioned a world that is inclusive and harmonious. He also said that it is the need of the hour for more people to know about them. With Dipendra, Aarti Rana, News Desk.
Today is the 355th birth anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th and the last Sikh Guru. The auspicious occasion is also known as Prakash Parv. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is an epitome of selfless service and righteousness. He said, Guru Gobind Singh will continue to inspire people to lead a life of service for the greater good. The Prime Minister said in a tweet that the life and message of Guru Gobind Singh gives strength to millions of people. He said he will always cherish the fact that his government got the opportunity to mark 350th Prakash Utsav. However, this year the main celebrations being celebrated at Takhat Sri Harmandir Sahib in Patna Sahib in Bihar are a low-key affair due to COVID. Bihar Governor Phagu Chauhan and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar greeted people on the occasion of Prakash Parv. Patna Sahib is the birthplace of Guru Gobind Singh. Prakash Utsav will be celebrated tonight after culmination of 48-hour-long Akhand Path amid COVID protocol. The entry of devotees has been restricted and no langar is being organized.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the 25th National Youth Festival on Wednesday. In a tweet, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has urged people to register to join this grand event.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold meeting this afternoon to review COVID-19 situation in the country. 26th December to be observed as Veer Bal Divas to honour the courage of the Sahibzade, the 2 sons of Guru Gobind Singh, announces the Prime Minister. healthcare and frontline workers and people above 60 with comorbidities to get booster dose of COVID vaccine from tomorrow. Over 151 crore 58 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 96.98%. A total of 3,623 cases of Omicron reported in the country so far. Today is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Vice President and Prime Minister greet the Indian diaspora on the occasion. The 355th birth anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh being celebrated with COVID protocols. In Uttarakhand, normal life thrown out of gears due to heavy snowfall. Many connecting roads in hilly areas disrupted. And in tennis, Indian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Ramkumar Ramanathan win Adelaide International Doubles Trophy in Australia. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास, तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार.
Welcome back to the news. The poll schedule for assembly elections in Goa, Punjab, Manipur, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh has been announced. Chief Election Commissioner Sushil Chandra announced the poll schedule in New Delhi yesterday. Uttar Pradesh will go to the polls in 7 phases from the 10th of February to the 7th of March. Manipur will vote in 2 phases on the 27th of February and the 3rd of March. Voting for Punjab, Uttarakhand and Goa will be held in a single phase on the 14th of February. Counting of votes will be held on the 10th of March. The term of Goa Legislative Assembly is ending on the 15th of March this year. Manipur Assembly on the 19th of March, Uttarakhand and Punjab Legislative Assembly on the 23rd of March and Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly on the 14th of May this year. Mr. Chandra said that for the past 2 years, the impact of COVID-19 has made conduct of elections difficult. He said as COVID cases soared in view of Omicron variant, the poll panel held meetings with the Union Health Secretary and Home Secretary, experts and health secretaries of states.
After taking all views and the opinions and the ground situation, we decided to announce elections to the 5 states with safety norms in place. At the heart of election process lies the sanctity and absolute veracity of the electoral roll.
The Chief Election Commissioner said at least one polling booth in each assembly constituency will be exclusively managed by women personnel to encourage women voters. Mr. Chandra said this time emphasis has been given on increasing the gender ratio in all the states. The poll panel this time has laid focus on COVID-safe elections with maximum participation. Mr. Chandra said all polling stations will be equipped with COVID mitigation facilities, including sanitizers and masks. The number of booths has also been increased.
The voters' safety is there, the polling booth is safe, and the polling officials are safe. Therefore, I request to all the voters to come forward and cast their votes. Similarly, I will request to all political parties and entities to mentor their party workers to adhere to COVID safety guidelines, especially during the period of campaign. Let us all remember that the safety of each one of us is our collective responsibility. It is our collective responsibility, and together we can make this happen.
The Chief Election Commissioner said no road shows, padyatras, cycle or bike rallies and processions shall be allowed till the 15th of January. The Election Commission will review the situation and issue further instructions accordingly.
Political parties and candidates are advised to conduct their campaign as much as possible through digital, virtual media platforms instead of physical mode, ensuring strict compliance of COVID safety norms. the Commission has decided that no roadshow, padyatra, cycle, bike vehicle rally and procession shall be allowed till 15th January 2022.
Political parties have been advised to conduct their campaign through digital mode as much as possible. A maximum of 5 persons to be allowed for door-to-door election campaign by candidates.
In view of emphasis on non-contact based campaign during pandemic conditions, Commission has decided to double the free equitable time allotted to the recognized political parties on Doordarshan and AER during these elections.
Mr. Chandra also said that the Commission has requested all the political parties and candidates to ensure that election atmosphere is not vitiated in any manner.
Commission has been engaging and requesting all political parties and candidates to ensure that their supporters do not indulge in hate speeches and fake news. Strict watch on social media posts is being kept to ensure election atmosphere is not vitiated in any manner. Any person, organization indulging in such malicious activity will face harsh consequences.
A total of 18.34 crore electors will take part in this election, out of which 8.55 crore are women electors. 24.9 lakh first-time electors are registered in the 5 states. Senior citizens above 80 years of age, persons with disabilities and COVID patients can vote by postal ballot. The Bharatiya Janata Party won all 3 posts in the Chandigarh mayoral elections held yesterday. BJP's Sarabjit Kaur was elected the mayor and Dalip Sharma and Anup Gupta became her deputies. In the 36-member Municipal Corporation House, 28 votes were polled as the Congress and SAD abstained from voting. The BJP got 14 votes, AAP 13 and 1 vote was deemed invalid. BJP's Anup Gupta won through a draw of lots after votes were tied 14-14 between him and AAP's Ramchandar Yadav. AAP had emerged as the single largest party in the elections held last month. AAP won 14 seats, BJP 12, Congress 8 and SAD won 1 seat.
Today is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. It was on this day in 1915, Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest Pravasi Bharatiya, returned to India. India is proud of its largest diaspora across the globe, which consists of around 31 million people. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has greeted non-resident Indians on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu urged NRIs to redouble their efforts in contributing for the growth and development of India. He also urged them to continue to act as cultural ambassadors of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also greeted people, especially the Indian diaspora, on the day. He said in a tweet that Indian diaspora has distinguished itself all over the world and has excelled in different spheres. He said India is proud of their accomplishments. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has also greeted the Indian diaspora on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. In a tweet, he said their achievements are a source of pride for all. Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan has said that the youth both from India as well as diaspora community have made a remarkable journey in innovation, technology and creativity. Addressing the Youth Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Conference 2022 through video conferencing, he said youth are playing a key role in determining the direction of where our society and the world is moving by bringing technological changes and using it in innovative ways. Mr. Muralidharan said, from Sundar Pichai to Parag Agarwal and from Rajiv Suri to Leena Nair, several luminaries are proof of Indian youth leadership on the global stage. The minister said Indian youth have been making great strides in finding innovative solutions to current problems and are a repository to futuristic thinking.
India is among the very few countries which has an extensive and evolving policy framework for engagement with the diaspora. The priority of the government led by our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji is to build everlasting links with the Indian diaspora the world over. Whenever the Prime Minister is overseas, we see a grand welcome to the leader and the enormous shower of love on him. It's actually the faith of our diaspora being reposed on India and their pride in Indianness. Under the Prime Minister's leadership, our outreach to the diaspora has taken new dimensions and evolved in a way where we are moving towards the concept of global India.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in the morning news. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with listeners tomorrow. Celebrating 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
On the 9th of January 1915, Mahatma Gandhi returned to India after his successful satyagraha in South Africa. Upon his return, he was honoured by the people of Bombay at a magnificent reception in the palatial house of a Bombay businessman, Jahangir Petit. Despite leading an extra-constitutional movement in South Africa and defying laws, Gandhi received a warm welcome, even from the British Indian government, as the cause for which he had fought appeared as much humanitarian as political.
Mr. Gandhi, have you refused to wear European clothes?
No, I haven't refused. I simply wanted to dress the way my comrades in prison dress.
Mr. Gandhi, now that you're back in India, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
The British Indian government joined hands with the people of India in showering honours on Gandhi, and he was accorded with Kaisar-e-Hind Gold Medal in the King's Birthday Honours List of 1915.
Gandhi took his time to plunge into Indian independence movement. Under the guidance of his Indian political mentor, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Gandhi underwent a year of probation to understand the Indian situation and did not express himself upon public questions for a year. During the year of probation, Gandhi confined himself to the reform of the individual and the society. His restraint was partly due to self-imposed silence and partly to the fact that he was still studying conditions in India. After the year was over, Gandhi devoted himself to the cause of Indian independence completely.
Since 2003, 9th of January has been commemorated as Pravasi Bharatiya Divas by the Government of India to mark the contribution of the overseas Indian community towards the development of India.
We also remember Deen Bandhu of farmers, Sir Chotu Ram, who died on the 9th of January 1945. He sought to articulate the suffering of the peasantry during the British India period.
Chotu Ram came from a debt-ridden family from the area which is now in the state of Haryana. His area used to witness frequent droughts and famines, leading to dependence of farmers on moneylenders. Under the patronage of Sir Chhajju Ram, Chotu Ram completed his law degree from Agra. He joined the Congress in 1916 and was the president of the Rohtak District Congress Committee from 1916 to 1920.
In 1923, he formed the Unionist Party in alliance with Fazle Hussain and Sir Sikandar Hayat Khan. The party won the general elections of 1936 in Punjab and formed a coalition government along with the Congress and Akali Dal with Chotu Ram as a revenue minister.
As a minister of the pre-partition Punjab Legislative Council, his first major achievement was the passage of the Punjab Land Revenue Amendment Act 1929, which remains a landmark social legislation till date. The exploitation of the peasantry by moneylenders was brought to an end with a series of measures, starting with the Punjab Regulation of Accounts Act 1930.
The Punjab Agricultural Produce Markets Act was passed in 1939, which provided for the constitution of market committees in notified areas and helped free the farmer from exploitation. A consolidation of land holdings was undertaken after passing the Consolidations Holding Act 1936, amended in 1945. Not only were all these laws passed, Chotu Ram also ensured their implementation.
For his outstanding contribution to upliftment of peasantry, farmers rewarded him with the titles of Deen Bandhu and Rehbar-e-Azam. The British honoured him with a knighthood in 1937. We salute the nationalist and great farmers' leader. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
And best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase Hallmark gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact the National Consumer Helpline toll-free numbers 14404, issued in the public interest by the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak, Jago. Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia said that the NEET PG 2021 counselling will begin from Wednesday. In a tweet, Mr. Mandavia said, following the order of the Supreme Court and the assurance given by the Health Ministry to the resident doctors, Medical Counselling Committee will start the counselling from the 12th of January. He said this will give more strength to the country in the fight against corona.
In Uttarakhand, normal life has been badly affected due to heavy snowfall in hilly areas. Many connecting roads in hilly areas have been disrupted following the snowfall at higher reaches in the state. Our correspondent reports that snowfall was reported at higher reaches in Uttarkashi, Chamoli, Rudraprayag and Tehri Garhwal district of Garhwal region during the last 24 hours. Long traffic jams were seen as most of the tourists from Dehradun, Saharanpur and Delhi rushed to Dhanolti and other parts that were covered with white mantle. Met Department has forecast cold days are likely to occur at isolated places in the hills of Uttarakhand.
In sports news, in tennis, unseeded pair of Rohan Bopanna, Ramkumar Ramanathan has won the Adelaide International Doubles Trophy in Australia. Teaming up for the first time on the ATP Tour, the Indian pair beat top seed Ivan Dodic Marcelo Mella in straight sets 7-6, 6-1 to win the trophy. Now let's take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is experiencing rain with cloudy sky. It recorded a minimum temperature of 14 degrees Celsius while the maximum be around 18 degrees. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky. It noted a minimum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 30 degrees. Chennai is likely to have partly cloudy sky. There will not be much change in temperature as it will vary between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. The city noted a minimum temperature of 16 degrees Celsius while maximum is expected to be around 27 degrees. In more news, Ministry of Ayush will organize a global Surya Namaskar demonstration program on the 14th of January, Makar Sankranti, for 75 lakh people globally. On this day, the Surya Namaskar is offered as a salutation to the sun to exhibit one's gratitude for each of its rays as it nurtures all living beings. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold meeting this afternoon to review COVID-19 situation in the country. 26 December to be observed as Veer Bal Divas to honour the courage of the Sahibzades, the two sons of Guru Gobind Singh, announces the Prime Minister. Healthcare and frontline workers and people above 60 with comorbidities to get booster dose of COVID vaccine from tomorrow. Over 151 crore and 58 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 96.98%. A total of 3,623 cases of Omicron reported in the country so far. Today is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. Vice President and Prime Minister greet the Indian diaspora on the occasion. The 355th birth anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh being celebrated with COVID protocols. In Uttarakhand, normal life thrown out of gear due to heavy snowfall. Many connecting roads in hilly areas disrupted. And in tennis, the Indian pair of Rohan Bopanna and Ramkumar Ramanathan win the Adelaide International Doubles Trophy in Australia. And with that, we end the Midday News.